So, the teleological argument is Aquinas's, his fifth proof is a version, of the teleological argument. It's called the proof from order. Right? So that's what the fifth proof is, and it's very straightforward. It just says there is order in the universe and to the universe. And by order, he means that the universe acts in special and predictable ways. Right? That is, it abides by the laws of motion. Right? Newtonian physics, basically physics. Right? Though he didn't have that term for it. Or no one had that term for it for at least another 400 years or so. So if the universe has order to it, that it, and it acts in special and predictable ways, but then that must mean that there's an intelligence behind it. Because things that lack intelligence cannot carry out a function. Right? They cannot act in those predictable ways unless directed by something with intelligence. This is how the argument goes. So the universe, having no intelligence, must be being directed by something that does. Since it follows these special and predictable patterns, it follows that it was created with these special and predictable patterns in mind, much like a watch is created by someone with, with a particular design and function in mind. And that grand designer of the universe is the one who directs it as such, similar to an orchestral symphony, right? And what are they called? I know they're colloquially called composers, but they're not actually composing the symphony. Maestros, right? Those who direct the symphony. So it must have been created by God. Right? This may not sound particularly teleological in nature, but remember this notion of order is special and predictable ways. Right? The predictability is what defines it as order. Specialness is that different things operate in different ways that are unique or relatively unique to them. Right? Dogs act in a particular way, but that's true of all dogs. All dogs act in kind of a generally similar way. They might have differing personalities and whatnot, speaking of dogs. But that's how they act, right? Versus cats act in special, unpredictable ways that are quite unlike dogs. And so too of humans and flies, right? But in whatever case, it's clearly sort of purposeful, right? The general structure and movement and way and behaviors of things are, at least on the by appearances, purposeful. And insofar as they're purposeful, well, then there has to be some common thread to all of them. And it's also true that the motion of the heavens appears purposeful. And, the way the seas move appear purposeful, or at least orderly. Right? They follow patterns. And if everything in the universe follows these patterns, then the line of thought goes, must have been created to follow these patterns, which means that even though the universe has no intelligence, there must be an intelligence behind its design. And thus you have a teleological argument. Does that make sense?